You walk into a room and something happens instantly. You feel it before you can name it. A stain on your shirt. A stumble on the stairs. A joke that landed wrong. Suddenly it feels like every eye in the room has locked onto you, cataloging the mistake, replaying it, judging it. Your whole body reorganizes around one belief. Everyone noticed. But almost no one did. That feeling has a name. Psychologists call it the spotlight effect, and it is one of the most quietly distorting forces in your daily life. It tells you that you are the main character in every room you enter. It insists that your smallest flaws are broadcast in high definition to everyone around you. And it is almost always lying. Why does your mind do this to you? In 2000, psychologists Thomas Gilovich and Kenneth Savitsky at Cornell University ran an experiment that has become one of the most cited studies in social psychology. They took a college student, dressed him in a deliberately embarrassing t-shirt featuring the face of singer Barry Manilow, and sent him into a room full of his peers. Afterward, they asked him to guess how many people in the room had noticed the shirt. Then they asked everyone else in the room whether they actually had. The student guessed nearly half the room had clocked it. The real number was less than half of that. Most people in the room never noticed the shirt at all. This is the spotlight effect in its purest form. You are trapped inside your own head, watching yourself constantly, so you assume everyone else is watching just as closely. But they are not. They are living the exact same experience you are, just pointed at themselves. Think about that for a second. Right now, someone across the world is convinced you are quietly judging the way they laugh too loud at lunch. You have no memory of it happening.
That is
You were
hilarious.
thinking about your own
I don't
laugh.
believe.
This is not arrogance. It is architecture. Your brain is built around a single, inescapable vantage point. Your own eyes, your own thoughts, your own anxieties running 24 hours a day with no off switch. Everyone else's mind is running the exact same private broadcast, starring themselves. Nobody has the spare processing power to fully star you. The sociologist Erving Goffman described social life as a kind of theater, where every person is simultaneously performing a role and managing an audience's impression of them. But here is the twist Goffman's framework reveals when you sit with it long enough. If everyone is a performer, then everyone is also too busy performing to watch the other performances closely. The theater is packed, but every seat is facing the wrong way, toward the stage each person has built for themselves. So why does the illusion feel so airtight? Because your embarrassment is loud and it is local. It happens inside your skull, in vivid detail, replayed instantly and endlessly. Other people's awareness of you is faint, brief, and gone within seconds, if it ever forms at all. You are comparing the loudest sound in your world to a whisper in someone else's, and concluding the whisper must be just as loud. There is a second layer to this, one that goes even deeper than the spotlight effect alone. Gilovich's later research uncovered something called the illusion of transparency, the belief that our inner emotions are far more visible on our faces than they actually are. You think your nervousness is written across your forehead in neon letters. It almost never is. Your face, to a stranger, usually just looks like a face. What does this mean for the way you move through the world? It means you have spent years apologizing for things nobody remembers. It means you have avoided rooms, conversations, opportunities, entire relationships because of a mistake that existed for exactly one person, you. The version of you that everyone else is supposedly judging so harshly does not exist anywhere outside your own mind. There is something almost strange, almost freeing, about how self-focused human attention actually is. We are not a species of watchers. We are a species of narrators, each one narrating a single story, and that story only has one main character. You are not being surveilled by the people around you. You are being ignored, gently and completely, in favor of everyone else's version of this exact same delusion. This does not mean other people are cold or that connection is pointless. It means the opposite. If nobody is scrutinizing you as closely as you fear, then the risk of reaching out, of speaking up, of trying the thing you have been too embarrassed to try, is smaller than it has ever felt. The stage lights you imagine were never turned on. Consider what you might have done differently this year alone if you had known that. The question you didn't ask. The idea you didn't share. The version of yourself you kept backstage, convinced the audience was waiting to judge the performance. There was no audience. There was just you watching yourself in a theater built for one. It is worth asking why evolution would build a mind this way at all. Why hand every human being a private, exaggerated sense of their own visibility? The answer may be less about vanity and more about survival. For most of human history, we lived in small tribes, where being noticed actually mattered. A misstep in front of 30 people you depended on for food and safety was not a small thing. It could change your standing in the group for years. So the brain adapted by treating every social slip as a 5-alarm event, just in case. The problem is that the world changed far faster than the brain did. You no longer live in a tribe of 30 who will remember your stumble for a decade. You live in a world of strangers who forget your existence within seconds, and yet the ancient alarm still goes off at full volume. This mismatch shows up everywhere once you start looking for it. The rehearsed apology for a typo in a text message nobody read twice. The outfit changed 3 times before a party where no one will recall what you wore. The silence you kept in a meeting, certain your question would expose you, when in reality half the room had the same question and forgot it by lunch. Is any of this your fault? Not really. This is simply what a self runs on. Attention turned permanently inward, mistaking its own volume for the world's. There is a quieter cost to all of this, one that rarely gets named. Every year you spend performing for an audience that isn't watching is a year you spend slightly smaller than you actually are. Not because anyone shrank you. Because you shrank yourself, preemptively, to avoid a judgment that was never coming. So the next time you walk into a room and feel that flood of imagined eyes, remember the shirt nobody saw. Remember that the person across from you is running the same private broadcast, starring themselves, worried about the exact same thing you are.